I've expressed to you guys how important it is to always bleed the truth, okay, and not just what's convenient. Let me explain something to you. There was a podcaster on internet, and he said he was laughing at how it was stated that black people built the United States. Okay, let me explain to you guys. Let me explain to him what that means. It's substantiated that the main drivers of the economy in the world at the time were tobacco and cotton. Okay? Now, for almost 400 years, black people were the only ones out there picking cotton. Not only were they only ones picking cotton in other continents, and on this continent, bringing in coffee, all the vegetables, everything you see machines and Hispanics doing. Okay? Now, for those of you who are just smart-assed and not smart, let me explain something to you. There is no economy, right? I told you guys this before. There is no economy with no participation. I'm going to get it right sooner or later. But here's what's important, more important than that. You guys realize these people came over here with essentially no skills but to kill and shoot. That's why they almost killed all the buffalo. Okay? You can't have an economy unless there's an infrastructure and something to sell. This continent was not a continent that naturally produced the things we talking about. So they had to be planted, cultivated, everything. So everything was done, not only service, but every job was done by a black person for 400 years. Do you understand that? An economy has to be constituted for some. I know you guys don't understand, but an economy has to be constituted by something substantive that has value and can be sold all over the world. So when you ask, how do black people say that they built our country? That's how we built the country. Not only did we build the country, we built the fucking world. Because this was everywhere. You couldn't do your own motherfucking work. You wasn't built to do it. So let me explain something to you. And let me get on another culture who've accepted your understanding. Brown people, not black people, brown people, you say you're smart. Your kids are educating yourselves. Let me explain something to you. How intelligent are you when you believe the same racist characteristics and words that white people told you? You're not even original enough to find your own racist characteristics in people. And why didn't black people become racist until after slavery? Not racist. Why did they become lazy right after slavery? Oh, they no longer wanted to work for free? Okay. Yeah. So let me explain something to you even further. Do you know my generation, the generation of the 90s, had more students in college than had ever existed? So look at the residuals. Look at the timeline of freedom. Look at my two grandfathers, which is my great-grandfather, lawyer, who finally got the opportunity to get a job, right? My first ancestor was essentially a slave. In 1836, he moved to Franklinton, Louisiana from bullshit-ass Mississippi. Okay, he was a Fortenberry. So when you say all this shit, we come from not only great people in Africa, we come from great people here. I don't give one fuck about a Mexican or a Caucasian. I work with them, but I'm telling you, if the reflection of what you get seems visceral and aggressive, it's because of what I'm getting. And I'm one of those Negroes that I only give you what you give me. Now here's something that's real funny. If you want to laugh, and this is the last thing I'm gonna say about this. I don't know if you guys heard, but Trump got his Supreme Court to pull up an old law with all these federal judges around the country that are, because you know they're Hispanic federal judges, right? To pull up an old law about birthright citizenship. Do you know there's only 3 groups of people they're talking about, 2 groups of people they're talking about that have birthright citizenship in the United States? That's children of slaves, or the descendants of slaves, or Native Americans. If you want to know why Mexicans are fucking quiet right now, that's why. That's why.
Which now comes to the fore. That was meant for the babies of slaves. It wasn't meant for people trying to scam the system and come into the country on a vacation. This was, in fact, it was the same date, the exact same date, the end of the Civil War. It was meant for the babies of slaves, and it's so clean and so obvious.
That amendment was specifically made for Black Americans, the babies of slaves, due to the complexities of the history in this country. They have to come up with that amendment. And it's crazy because the immigrants, the countries that they come from, don't even have birthright citizenship. It's not where you're born, it's who you're born to. It's blood right citizenship. Citizenship based on bloodlines, based on ancestry. If one of your parents is a descendant of a citizen, right? You can't just go to Italy. You can't just go to Ghana and have a baby and have no ties to that land, and that baby is all of a sudden a citizen of Ghana or Italy. It just doesn't work that way. In neither of these, in all these countries, it doesn't work that way. It's just that America, the United States, had a complex history where they had to make this amendment. Once again, even the countries these immigrants come from, there's no such thing as a birthright citizenship. You try having a baby over there and be like, well, this baby is a citizen to this land. No, it's not. Just found a loophole in the amendment that was made for Black Americans and the descendants of American slaves. Truth be told, this should have been addressed a long time ago. These are the 3 judges that weren't in agreement with the birthright ruling, right? They disagreed with it. Sonia of Puerto Rico, Elena, and Kataji Brown. I hope I'm saying her name right. But Kataji and Elena they have a lot in common. Elena, she's a child of Russian parents, you know, and Kataji, she's proud of her Jamaican, you know, ancestry, her heritage. And if you look at Kataji history, she's always advocated for immigrants. See, immigrants, they're going to push, you know, advocacy for immigrants. That's why I say that Elena and Kataji has a lot in common. Just like someone from Jamaica and someone from Russia will have more in common, you know, with the agenda, with advocacy, what works for them in this country in comparison to a Black or a white American. They're going to push that agenda, whatever benefits them. And Kataji is an example of this. You know, she always been for the advocacy of immigrant rights. Her stance on reparations, she haven't really took a stance on that, which we all know. If you're not in agreement, you're against it, right? Anyone could recognize and point out the disparities in the Black community and how this country, you know, discriminated against Black Americans from redlining all the way to slavery. Like, that's in the history books. All these representatives, one thing they're going to have in common, that's first generation, second generation Democratic representatives, they're going to advocate for immigrant rights. They're going to have immigrant advocacy. That's going to be on top of their agenda, the priority.